The world just watched a ceasefire crumble in real time. Explosions echoed across the Middle East, leaders scrambled to contain the fallout, and one man, once credited with brokering peace, has now issued a fiery ultimatum. But this time the warning wasn't aimed at Iran, it was aimed at one of America's closest allies. What pushed him to the edge? Why now? And what does this mean for the fragile balance already hanging by a thread? You're about to find out. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Tensions in the Middle East are spiraling out of control, and now Donald Trump has publicly snapped. In a dramatic statement that sent shockwaves across the international stage, the 47th President of the United States has issued a direct and unmistakably stern warning to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The message: stand down or face the consequences. Just hours after announcing a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, Trump took to his social media platform to accuse both sides of violating the agreement just minutes after it came into effect. But it was Israel, a longtime ally of the United States, that bore the brunt of Trump's fury. In a post that was both blunt and ominous, Trump wrote, "Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now." The post was published shortly after Trump left the White House to head to the NATO summit in The Hague. But the timing wasn't accidental. It was a calculated warning from a man who once prided himself on bringing peace deals to the region, and who now finds himself once again in the middle of a rapidly escalating war. Speaking to reporters outside the White House before his departure, Trump doubled down. "Israel has to calm down. I have to get Israel to calm down," he told journalists. And in a follow-up comment, he added pointedly, "I'm going to see if I can stop it." It's clear that Trump felt betrayed, suggesting that Israel had, in his words, unloaded on Iran right after shaking hands on a ceasefire. For a president who takes pride in deal-making, that kind of reversal appears to have crossed the line. But what's driving this fury? Shortly before Trump's remarks, Israeli officials had confirmed that their defensive systems were being used to intercept incoming missiles launched from Iran. Civilians were ordered to take shelter immediately, and alerts rang out across multiple cities. In response, Israel launched what it called high-intensity strikes against targets in the heart of Tehran. The exchange left multiple casualties on both sides. 4 Israelis were reported killed by Iranian missiles in Beersheba just before the ceasefire took effect. In retaliation, Israeli strikes killed at least 9 people in the northern Iranian province of Gilan, targeting what they described as residential buildings. An IDF spokesperson explained the urgency. The IDF has identified that missiles were launched from Iran towards the territory of the State of Israel a short time ago. The defense systems are working to intercept the threat. You must enter the protected areas upon receiving the alert and remain there until further notice. Meanwhile, a dangerous new front has opened up. Just yesterday, the Islamic regime launched 6 missiles at a US military base in Qatar, a staggering escalation that drew immediate condemnation. The target, Al Udeid Air Base, one of the most important American installations in the region. Britons in Qatar were swiftly warned by the UK Foreign Office as the country's airspace was shut down. Minutes later, a series of loud explosions echoed across Doha, confirming that the missiles had landed. Iran claims the attack was a retaliatory strike following US bunker-busting raids on its nuclear facilities. Among the targets allegedly hit were Iran's nuclear sites in Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. And now, the UK was being drawn further into the crisis. Speaking aboard a jet en route to The Hague, British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer was forced to address the unfolding chaos. Echoing Trump's call for restraint, Starmer said, "Well, I want the ceasefire to continue, and therefore, obviously, the sooner we get back to that, the better." And that's the message that I'm discussing with other leaders today. He also confirmed communication with Qatar's leadership. I exchanged messages with the Emir of Qatar yesterday as well in relation to the attack yesterday. As of now, the situation remains fluid and highly volatile. With Trump openly chastising Netanyahu and warning Israel to halt its operations, it marks a rare moment in modern geopolitics. a US president threatening to rein in an ally amid growing fears of a wider regional war. The question now is, will Israel listen? Or are we witnessing the final breakdown of diplomacy in a conflict that's teetering on the edge? Stay tuned. In other news, Shadow Foreign Secretary Priti Patel has strongly criticized the government's approach to Israel, claiming it has frozen relationships with Britain's ally, whilst failing to support American military action against Iran. Speaking to the media, Patel said, "We need a British government which actually leverages its diplomatic clout in the world when it comes to standing alongside our allies." She condemned the government for spending more time talking tough to the Israeli government rather than actually supporting a lot of the work that helps to keep our country safe. The Shadow Foreign Secretary also criticized the government's silence on recent US strikes against the Iranian nuclear facilities. The British government did not come out to give a view on the US strikes on that Iran nuclear facility. That is not right at all, she stated. Patel emphasized the importance of security cooperation between Britain and Israel, noting that we share a lot of security and intelligence materials between our two countries. Her comments come as the government organizes chartered flights to evacuate British nationals from Israel following escalating tensions in the region. The Foreign Office has advised against all travel to Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. She argued that degrading Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile capabilities was essential for British security. It's the same ballistic missiles they are supporting Putin with his support on Ukraine. It hurts us in Europe and hurts us here, Patel stated. The government's approach to the Middle East conflict has included using anti-terrorism laws to ban Palestine action following damage to military aircraft at RAF Brize Norton last week. Two activists broke into the Oxfordshire base, spraying red paint into Voyager aircraft engines and attacking them with crowbars. The group said the paint, symbolizing Palestinian bloodshed, was also sprayed across the runway, and a Palestine flag was left on the scene. Prime Minister Keir Starmer condemned the incident as disgraceful vandalism. The ban will make membership of Palestine Action a criminal offense punishable by up to 14 years in prison. Police clashed with Palestine Action supporters in Trafalgar Square on Monday during a solidarity demonstration, with protesters chanting "Let them go" as officers attempted to detain someone. Patel warned that Iranian threats to Britain were a daily reality, stating, "We have Iranian spies in our country, Iranian dissidents in our country, and they have been acting against our interests." The former Home Secretary emphasized her previous focus on national security, saying, "My sole mission as Home Secretary was to keep our country safe." She argued that Middle East conflicts affect us every single day in this country, pointing to Britain's threat levels and investments in policing, intelligence, and counterterrorism capabilities. Patel stressed the need for action against Iran's military capabilities, stating, "In terms of protecting us on the streets from Iran, you have to degrade their nuclear ability and ballistic missile capability." Priti Patel's remarks underline a growing divide in British foreign policy, with the Shadow Foreign Secretary calling for a far more assertive stance on Middle East security and stronger alignment with key allies like the United States and Israel. As tensions escalate in the region and the UK faces increased domestic threats linked to global conflicts, her intervention signals that foreign and security policy will remain a central battleground in British politics. Whether the government recalibrates its position or holds its current course, pressure is mounting for clearer direction and a firmer grip on the challenges unfolding both abroad and at home. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.